Good morning, traders. It is Wednesday, October 30th. We got one more trading session after today for the month, and we'll see where the month ends up closing. But overall, looking at the SP 500, we are still looking at the market trying to grind in this topping phase. If we were to connect these highs here, you can see we're testing and threatening a potential breakout here. The market poked up. You can see a wick. It's hard to see here, but a wick poked through that level. We're still flirting with this area, and the market's starting to show signs that this nominal new high with the SP 500 hitting some new highs, we're getting very close, I think, to some type of pullback, and it's tempting to try to pick a top here. Now, I generally don't want to pick a top. I usually let the market kind of stall out, and you can get these sharp drops, and we usually have some type of signal somewhere over here to catch an initial drop. It's what happened over here as well. We actually had the signal right here for a drop. And so I usually don't pick tops, but this is starting to look very similar to this kind of double top formation based on the cycles here. We could see the market put in a double top, a little topping formation, and we could start to see a breakdown for price more or less to come back up and test these potential spike lows, or we could base it on a closing bar low somewhere in this range here. But overall, the market's starting to get weak, and if stocks roll over, we should see precious metals and safe havens start to pick up the slack and start to perform. And of course, safe havens have all been flagging sideways or pulling back, so they're primed and ready at any point here to start to rally. But a trend is more likely to continue than it is to reverse, which is why picking tops or bottoms is tough. And same with the precious metals market. They've been trading down in a downtrend for a couple months, and they could continue for a couple months. Even though they look primed and ready and we think they're going to rally, you just never know. Trends are more likely to continue than to reverse. So trying to pick tops and bottoms can be pretty painful. So looking at the SP 500, our analysis hasn't changed much. Obviously, as time goes on, the cycles update, new shorter term cycles come into favor, and same with longer ones. So this date keeps kind of moving forward a little bit on us. Overall, we could see a top put in over the next week, week and a half, and it doesn't mean we'll have to see how that'll unfold. For all we know, we get some divergence, meaning we can see the market crack to the downside, and then we could see it maybe trade sideways, and then could see it roll over, or maybe it comes down and puts in a double top, or there's a lot of different ways that this could play out, and you don't really know. Cycle analysis isn't usually as clear as it looks to trade because cycles change, and these tops can drag out and continue to unfold with short-term analysis changing. So all we need to know is the market's overdone and everything is ready to reverse, and we're just keeping our eyes peeled for the next setup. So let's take a look. If we take a look at the Nasdaq, let's go to the QQQ. Look at the QQQ. Very similar analysis in terms of the cycles. If we go to the Dow, the DIA, it's showing more or less we should be topping sooner than later, as in a day or two away. If we look at the small cap stocks, the IWM, it's showing that potentially a top is put in, and we could start to see this move down. So the larger indexes, we're still going to struggle with this top. The leading sectors maybe start to roll over, or indexes, but we are close to what looks like a top. And of course, the Russell 2000 is into this kind of topping phase right in here, where we've seen the market sell off, rally back up, sell off, rally back up, and we've got a cycle top. So we'll be looking for a new trade setup. Not too excited about picking a top, although it looks pretty tempting. But again, tops and bottoms can really catch you. And this market could continue to unwind and climb this wall of worry, and it's really hard to get how to manage those trades because they're going against average trading rules. Looking over at bonds, let's pull up the chart of TLT. We still have some more potential downside. It's showing that we've had a move down, it's flagged, and there's potential here for still another drop. And if the stock market does hold up or continues to push slightly higher, we're going to see the safe havens, I think, dump out, and we could see more selling in miners and bonds. Simply, this pattern here actually shows quite a bit of downside still for bonds using Fibonacci extension. You go from the high down to this low and up to this high. It shows that we could see the market pull back. This would be the move here, down, back up, and this is the 618, and then we got the 100% measured move. So we could potentially see this A, B, C correction, It's the C correction breaking this low right here. This is what flushes the market out and usually puts a bottom in. And this could be seen as we've got a big bull flag here. In the longer term picture, this is a one massive leg up with a much larger correction. So there's a lot of ways this can play out, and that's why we don't want to try and just pick a bottom or get long bonds or metals, because they could. Some of the biggest moves happen right at the end before reversal. So yeah, there may only be 2 or 3 or 4 days left, but look what can happen when you get to this zone. It would be equivalent to here. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 days, even though you're only 4 days off, twice the move happened from the previous pullback, and that could happen again. So that's why picking bottoms is deadly, and tops. You get the same type of thing. Huge moves right at the end, and then they reverse. All right, taking a look over at, let's pull up utilities, see where they ended up closing yesterday. Utilities holding their ground. Obviously, money's flowing out of the safe haven still. Looks like they're getting a little oversold. I do like utilities as a safe haven play. I feel as though the pullback is very similar to what we saw over here in June. It's a quick bout of selling, kind of recalibration, but I think fear will creep back in. But not too excited about the utilities going forward. I'm more looking for bonds or a precious metals type of play. Looking over at gold, gold continues to flag sideways again. This is a very bullish formation. Looks like overall, looks like we're going to see continued kind of chop here until the stock market does something. Really, this is still a kind of a dead cat here, just laying here, not doing a whole lot, waiting for something to unfold. Silver, same type of thing, trading sideways, more or less. Go to gold miners, same type of thing. Overall, we're kind of got this. When I say the dead cat, you get a dead cat bounce, meaning something sells off and has just a bounce, and it barely bounces, and then it just continues to flag sideways. Kind of a terrible trading term, but let's move on to energies. Natural gas up 1.25%. Futures chart here looks really strong. Again, up again today, testing these recent highs. We played this move up, waited for that bottom. This is what I was talking about with bonds, where the market pulled back, started to look like it was getting into a buy zone, and then it only took 4 or 5 more days and the market dropped significantly. And even though we were looking for a bottom right over here in a reversal, we never got it. The bottom fell out, and then it put in a real bottom. We got this inverse head and shoulders formation, and then we ended up getting in with this first little bull flag, knowing our cycle was bottoming, and we were under pressure for a couple days, but other than that, it has rocketed to the upside. The big easy money has been made. We had to wait for it, but we've got this first gain. Now we're just going to see if we can milk it for some more gains and continue to rally to the upside. Looking over at crude oil, down 0.4%. It is continuing to kind of flirt around in this between these two support and resistance lines. Again, not a whole lot going on here. It's trying to build a base, but it's a pretty messy base. Again, it's got a base right across here. This is a key support zone. If 51 is broken, then we're going down to 45, 44 very quickly. But overall, in this range, it's a pretty ugly range through here, and it's really more or less from this kind of core range. We are trading right in the middle of things, so it's a 50-50 which way this is going to play out. Anyways, that's it for this morning. I'll talk to you in a little bit. Bye-bye.